You're still watching Midday Live, and let's look at more on trending issues that has to do with the CPP youth organizer, and that concern has to do with he going to stretch regarding the president taking the Ford vehicle and representing the party, which some members of the party have raised issues about. And I do have in the studio, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. That's
Commander Moses Mambo. He's with the CPP, the youth wing. That's Accra Youth Wing.
Yeah, that's Greater Accra.
No. Okay. Now, what really is your concern?
Our concern, before I go now, I would like to say a very good afternoon to all my fellow comrades, and especially the members of the Youth League. Our concern is simple. We, as a Youth League, are saying that for the country, for us to progress, there's a canker that is fighting this country called corruption. And there's a thin line between gifts and corruption. So whatever the CPP youth is seeking to do is for clarification, for the strike to go in there to investigate. We have not victimized anyone for taking any gift. All what we are doing is to ask strike to go in there to investigate and lay the foundations so that we can all follow in the present and in time.
Told you there, we do apologize for the poor sound there. We'll work on it and start the interview again. But still focusing on the CPP, flag bearer of the Convention People's Party says he Chief of Staff over the disability and friendly nature of the Flagstaff House.
10 years since the passage of the disability law, the directive is yet to be fully implemented in the country. Most worrying is the access to buildings and structures hitherto were not friendly to persons with disability. The House of Parliament that in itself passed the law has failed to make the House friendly 10 years on. Persons with disability make up 10% of Ghana's population. The cries of persons with disability has yielded little or no result, with the workers' union in the public sector threatening an industrial action over the lack of government commitment in paying them allowances that the law prescribes. The physically challenged person himself says the continuous delay in implementing the law to the latter is no excuse.
On the occasions that I've been there, it doesn't have the kind of necessary accessible ramps that you'd expect of nature, the highest office of the land, and a mighty structure which so many hundreds of millions of our money was spent to erect. But I think not to talk just about, Flagstaff House. So many public buildings that ought to be accessible are not accessible, especially the ministries and other key organizations like district assemblies around the country. So we've had the Disability Act in place for quite some time now. A number of years have passed, I think, 10 years. And, the situation still remains the same.
Ivor Greenstreet is confident the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities implemented with the speed of light, he assured.
Issues like that you have to deal with formally, not informally. And perhaps, after seeing that the place is inaccessible, the steps that I should have taken, which I haven't taken, but which I may not take, is at least to write a letter. And that letter can be written to the Chief of Staff. And I think he's the more appropriate person to implement any changes that they can make. Yeah.
Still their flag bearer, where in studio I do have youth organizer for the party. Remember, so we're talking about your youth wing. Yes. And concerns on corruption.
Yes, yeah. It's not only for the Youth League. We in the convention made it a point, and we were taught through our classes in ideology of incremental corruption should have no. So it's something that naturally we are born to fight for. So with the CPP Youth League, we thought it wise to take this initiative to petition strike. As I said, we are not victimizing the president. All what we are seeking to do is for strike to investigate and come out with its findings. It is quite simple. So the CPP Youth League is not victimizing. We are not those pointing accusing fingers at the president or anyone that he is being corrupt. All what we are seeking to do is to petition strike to investigate into the matter proper. So
have you received any response from
Of course we have. Straj has written back to the Youth League acknowledging our petition, and they've even informed the Youth League that they've even commenced their investigation. So we are waiting upon them.
Now, as a youth wing of a political party, you're very much aware, like you rightly said initially, that corruption is a canker.
Yes.
This is a step in the right direction that you've taken. You've petitioned. As a party to government, how best do you think that the country can deal with corruption, especially knowing that it's something that evolves and it starts from a certain age and spreads all across the country?
Okay.
As a sector, let's focus on the youth as a sector, how best do you think it can be dealt with?
Corruption can be dealt with. You see, people always and those down there. I always say, and easy is the head that wears the crown. So it all starts from leadership. If leadership is so strong to cast the whip, whoever is found to be corrupt, we deal the person proper. I believe people will start being disciplined. You see, in our cultural settings in Africa, there's a thin line between gifts and bribe. You see, parents will go to elders and give them gifts. So it has become a norm that it is normal.
Can we deal with it?
We can deal with it. That is why I say, you see, so we have to draw the line that what will constitute a gift and what will constitute a corruption. So even in Nkrumah, when he was launching the 7-year development plan, he said that he's entreating all his ministers and people not to, be taking gifts from contractors or whoever is supposed to help in the developmental agenda. It is clear, because when you start taking gifts, the person will bring it in the name of a gift. You continue taking it, and one day the person will come and ask you for a favor. How many people will have the balls to say no to the person? It's difficult. So there's a thin line between gifts and corruption. So what we are saying is that it starts from the top. Our leaders should stand upright and fight this canker. I tell you, if our leaders were, being so hard on people who are being found to be corrupt, I believe there should be some sense of discipline in our society. But as it stands now, it's like everybody is doing it with impunity. And this is what we, the Convention People's Party, especially the Youth League, we think is improper. And we believe that in years to come, if Straj is able to establish a good understanding or foundation of this investigation, I believe it should guide us in the near future.
As a young person, what do you make of the youth mindset? And do you think, yes, you rightly mentioned that it starts from the top and then it descends down. But do you think that the youth in the country have that mindset that you have? And if not, how best can this be dealt with?
You see, the youth do not have that mindset as it stands now. Just a few. Now, I'm a youth organizer. I go on campuses and talk to like those on top. They're not doing anything to help us. They are just spending our money. So when I also get there, I also do the same. As we stand now, that is what the youth, that is what the agenda now, that I also want to get to the top and do the same as they are doing. But some of us, being versed in Nkrumah, we know that that is not the way to go. And we've been talking to the youth. Now look, if this generation, if our leaders are failing us, we can't afford to fail the next generation. We have to stand upright and make sure the right thing is done. And I believe the Convention People's Party Youth League is setting an example for all youth in the country to follow. That is why we are asking for this. We are petitioning Straj, because this is a matter of public interest. And we believe the youth all around the country are in solidarity with the CPP youth.
All right, well, thank you very much. Commander Moses Zirimambo, he is the Greater Accra Youth Organizer for the CPP.